Jabri dang, kinfolk. It's your boy JEM coming back at you, man, with kind of a rumor that ain't a rumor, but it's not really the truth as well. Okay, I'll just say it. Somebody started a rumor that Avid had been sold, and while that's kind of true, it's only going to be true if it happens in the future because Avid didn't get sold, but they are trying to be sold. Okay, so maybe in the future the rumor will be true, maybe, possibly. Anyway, if you missed my take on the top 5 best companies that should buy Avid, you can check it out here. But that's not why we're here right now. We're here because I think it's time to take a moment to discuss the 2 companies I don't believe will offer to purchase Avid, okay? And frankly, I hope they don't offer to buy Avid, any part of it, okay? Don't even make the call. Now, numero uno on that list is gotta be Apple. Everybody knows Apple has deep cavernous pockets, and they certainly could afford to both purchase not only both apps, Media Composer and Pro Tools, but they could also throw in and buy Sibelius. And once upon a time, 10 to 15 years ago, Apple was definitely focused on what they called pro apps. And that's centered around its acquisition of Macromind's Final Cut Pro, which culminated in the groundbreaking version 7, which was installed in dozens of Hollywood studios and used by independent filmmakers all around the world. Final Cut Pro led the charge in the digital cinematic revolution. Now, before that, Apple had also acquired a tool called Shake from a company called Nothing Real, which was a personal highlight for me as I had been working with Shake since 1995. So Apple's purchase of the node-based nonlinear compositing app, I thought, would signify compositing for the masses, as then high-end compositing tools and high-end compositing itself can only be achieved by using a flint or a flame. Now, unfortunately, the app never evolved under Apple, and it languished under the Pro Apps banner for what seemed like years.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
And like many of the tools that Apple acquired, they were either changed over to a lifestyle app, starting with Final Cut Pro 10, or discontinued altogether. Look, Apple's a lifestyle company. The market share that they would gain by acquiring Avid, I don't believe it's worth it to them. Besides, they already got Logic Pro, and though it has a smaller market share than Pro Tools, it is definitely a go-to app for music production, which fits more in line with what Apple wants. I just don't see the need for them to add Pro Tools at this time. Also, acquiring Pro Tools and or Media Composer means dealing with Hollywood again. And with the assistance of Hollywood as far as stability features, specific R&D that doesn't necessarily translate out into the social media world, and Apple's larger content base being the driver for a lot of their R&D, I just don't see it making money sense for Apple to do this at this time. Now, that being said, Apple consistently makes a habit of shaking up the world. So, who knows? Now, the next company I would take off the list of purchasing Avid would be Adobe. All right, so I don't really think we need to get too far into this. Adobe has Premiere Pro and they have Audition. The only attractive acquisition line for them might be Sibelius. The digital audio workstation that calls itself Audition is a robust app that Adobe does invest R&D in, and they like to keep it up to date. It's actually a wonderful tool, but it's not a flagship product for them. And as Adobe leans more into AI and the 3D business apps sector, it doesn't quite make sense for them to lean hard towards audio at this point, unless they're doing some type of AI focused audio media thing, which they could do today with Audition. So it just doesn't make sense. Now, if you think it does and you want to make your case, meet me down there in the comments and we can chat about it. All right. Be sure to like and subscribe, hit that like button, hit the notification button. And as I said before, if you want to know the top 5 companies that I do believe should purchase Avid, just click that little link right there. It'll take you right to it. All right. So there you have it. The 2 companies that I strongly believe should not in any way be involved with the purchase or a possible purchase of Avid. All right. Like a Hanzo sword, baby. I'm out. All right. Stay humble. And as always, strive to be notorious. All right. I'll holla, kinfolk.